Welcome back to Talkin' Winter Ops. I'm Rick Nelson, and I'll be your host for the 2025 National Winter Maintenance and Road Weather Briefing Series. This is our opportunity to catch up with our partners in winter maintenance and road weather to find out what they've been working on this past year and what they're planning for the future. These briefings are a way to see if their work might fit into your operation. But before we get started, it's important to give a shout out to the briefing sponsors, starting with the AASHTO Winter Weather Management Technical Service Program, who sponsors Talkin' Winter Ops. Their parent AASHTO committee, the Committee on Maintenance, and their close ties with the Maintenance Operations Technical Working Group, and of course the state DOTs, whose yearly contribution to the Winter Weather Management Technical Service Program make all this possible. So sit back and listen in on this winter maintenance and road weather briefing. Matt Morium, Public Works Director for the City of Shorewood, Minnesota. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, Rick. Appreciate you having me here, and just happy to update everybody on the great things that the organization's doing.
Perfect. You guys really have a robust schedule of activities that takes place throughout the year. What are some of the highlights you got going on?
Yeah, I would say, our biggest highlight is it's the North American Snow Conference that's put on in, April, May time, kind of after the winter season. And that is an opportunity. It's in a different, somewhat mid-size city, like Des Moines, or this last one was in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Next year will be in Cleveland. And that's an opportunity to have snow and ice professionals come. They look at equipment, touch equipment. There's a huge, probably the largest showroom floor anywhere, actually probably in the world, I would say, as far as snow and ice equipment. And then coupled with a lot of the vendor presentations that they have on the showroom floor, and then also practitioner presentations, and sometimes those are coupled with some of the vendors to show some of the technology that we are utilizing, testing, and doing. So it's a great opportunity to have anybody come and take a look, especially if you're evolving in your snow and ice operations, or if you're looking to pick up a couple things. One of the other probably major thing and very time consuming thing is our winter maintenance supervisor and operator certificate workshops. Those we do have virtual versions through
Mhm.
APWA, which we're doing. The supervisor one actually here, it probably won't be this won't come out before it, but it's next week. It's in mid-May, usually every year, and then the operator one this year will be in early November. And but outside of that, we do live in-person versions of this, and that's kind of our bread and butter, where we come out and present. The supervisor one is an all-day event, and the operator one is a half-day event.
Mhm.
We could do both at the same time. We usually have 5 or 6 speakers, and we try to incorporate some local speakers into those programs and come out and just train people. And those are really great opportunities just to have that interaction with their other agencies that they're close to, because typically it's a lot of agencies that are in the region that we do these, and also have that interaction with the speakers. So we do probably, I think it's about 10, 12 supervisor ones around the United States and Canada, and a little bit more, 12 to 15 of the operator ones. So it just depends. If anybody is ever interested in any of those, they can contact myself or APWA on those sessions.
So this is something that they can put together sort of on demand. There isn't necessarily a schedule for the operator and supervisor certification.
The schedule changes every year. We kind of have standing, I guess, customers at times. Not all the time, but we probably have 3 or 4 that we do every year. One of them is the Western Snow and Ice Conference, and then also we go up to British Columbia for a couple sessions each year. They're really active in this program and find it beneficial. But yes, we can put something together, and then we figure out the travel plans, and we figure out the speakers, and we do all the stuff behind the scenes, and then you can um, get that program advertised and get people coming and charge
Mhm.
whatever you want or not charge. Some agencies don't charge anything; they just fund it through their training program. So it just kind of depends on each agency that we do it for.
I see. Okay. You mentioned the Western Snow and Ice Conference. That's another big one that you guys have going on every year.
Yeah, so that's out in Loveland. Yeah, that is becoming a, actually it is a large event and probably getting larger each year. So that's another one where we have the equipment, and then the educational sessions. A lot of kind of, it's, I wouldn't say it's tailored to it, but it's a lot of similar content. But you get some of that Western United States mountain type speakers, and just another great opportunity again to one kind of get some of that training. We do the, like I said, we do the supervisor and operator out there, and get some of that training, and just improve your operations, and be more confident. I think a lot of these training opportunities, I think what people sometimes forget is gaining the confidence in some of the changes that you're doing in your organization, and hearing other people do those same things is, my opinion, hugely beneficial for even the more advanced agencies that are out there.
I had an opportunity to go to the Western Snow Conference this last year, and what struck me about it, well, there were a couple of things. One was the equipment show. They had a pretty robust equipment display that was there, both indoors and outdoors. And when you're in the winter maintenance business, sometimes it's really hard to go kick the tires and see and touch and feel what's really out there. I know everybody's budgets are strapped and that sort of thing for buying new pieces of equipment, but getting a chance to take a look at, I mean, it gives you an opportunity to make the story, right?
Yeah, it's
So that was one thing was the equipment show.
yeah,
The
and it's
second
easier
thing
to.
was the rodeo. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Matt. Go ahead.
No, I was
This is your
just gonna
briefing,
say,
right?
no, 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 no. You're gonna get to your number two here. I was just gonna say that it's easier to make those connections too. When you see out on the showroom floor, and you're like, oh yeah, here's this company, or here's a company that I never knew about. And if you don't attend some of those events, you may never know about those things unless somebody tells you about it. And sometimes those things just never happen. So,
Right. Well, and it's not just the capital fleet, right? There's parts and pieces that
yep,
go, gives you an opportunity to look at different kinds of blades and different kinds of attachments and things like that that can help you do your job more efficiently, right?
yep,
Because everybody's
yeah,
strapped for people.
yep.
So, and the second thing is the snow rodeo, right? And we did a Talking Winter Ops episode on the snow rodeo, which really is an outstanding opportunity for operators to show their skill. And man, they really get into it.
Yeah, no, so the National Snow Rodeo is a great event out there, and there's a lot of associations that send representatives from their different states or their chapters. A lot of times they do those. That's kind of like the award for winning the kind of local rodeos that some agencies do. I know Minnesota and Iowa, and I'm sure there's a number of other ones that do it as well. But it really is a great way to showcase their skills, which snowplow operators, winter maintenance professionals are very skilled in the things that they do, and sometimes people just think we just drive down the road and that's it. But there's a whole lot of things in the way, and a whole lot of things that you need to avoid. And in order to do a exceptional job, which I think is everybody's goal, there's many different factors in there, and it's just a way to showcase that.
Right. And the mix was pretty good between municipal and federal government and state government. And and it was really interesting for me to see the rivalries that sort of exist between the different organizations and agencies. There's a lot of bragging rights that go into that snow rodeo.
Yes, that is totally true.
And I just want to say the third thing before we get off of the Western Snow Conference, and I'm sure it's true for the national conference as well, but the the presentation track, the lecture track, really does span the breadth of the organizational structure, right? I mean, there's topics there for operators and supervisors. There's topics for the mid management, and there's topics for the senior leadership as well. So this really isn't a narrowly focused kind of event for just operators or just municipalities. There's a lot to be gained across the organizational structure, as well as whatever organization you happen to belong to. If you're in the road weather and winter maintenance business, it's got something there for you, something to offer for you.
Yeah, I would completely agree that, it's both of those conferences provide a wide breadth, and I think, there's been a coordinated effort to do that. I think maybe a number of years back it was a lot of operational equipment type stuff, and maybe a little less on the supervisory and leadership side. But that part of it, is I think everybody agrees is becoming a more and more critical part of
Hmm.
any operations, let alone winter operations. And so just incorporating that in and talking about that and going over and hearing people's stories, because a lot of times you get into these presentations and sessions and they're interactive, and so you talk about the different things that you've had go on, the things that you've learned from, and those are the super powerful moments that you're not going to get by just sitting behind the desk, and that's just speaks to the volume of quality of those events where you get that kind of conversation.
Yeah, and I think it's really great that APWA has picked up the challenge to host these winter conferences, for both the equipment displays as well as exchanging information and building that network. We're all in this boat together, right?
Oh yes.
So, anything else happening with APWA that we should know about?
So, yeah, so I mean, one of the big things, on the winter maintenance side of things, so we have our winter maintenance subcommittee, and we have a little over 20 people on the committee, and there's a whole host of things that we do along with the conferences and the supervisor and operator trainings. Um, we do liaison with other committees, ASHTO being one of them,
Mhm.
with the Winter Maintenance Technical Service Program, with LTAP, with Clear Roads, Transportation Research Board, a number of different organizations. So that's, as far as a committee, there's typically one person assigned to each of those. And we, certainly gain um, knowledge through those relationships, and then we report back to our organization. And then, if there's anything that we can help with, that we can coordinate on, those are kind of the really big parts of the committee that we deal with. APWA, if you're a member of APWA, we have reporter. It's called the APWA reporter. It's usually each um, month there's a different magazine. It's a physical magazine and a online one. But typically in October, we put out winter maintenance articles, a wide breadth of them, all the way from the leadership things to the different winter operations and different technologies. So we have that going on. And those are kind of the big ones with our committee. So, we're going through a fair amount of changeover with our committee. We have kind of a mix of public public employees and some private. Most of the private employees typically have started with public employment and then kind of transitioned to the private sector. But point being is we have a wide breadth of experience. So we do, for the different conferences, we do the program review. So the committee itself does the program review and award reviews and all those type of things. So there's really a lot of experience, and it speaks to the quality of certainly the sessions at any of the conferences. So there's a lot of things that our winter maintenance subcommittee does, and I certainly want to shout out to them because they're all of them are volunteers, and they put in dozens and dozens and dozens of hours of volunteer time. And our main focus is certainly getting the word out there with training, with their expertise that the group has, and it's just it's an awesome group of people on the committee. Rick, a number of them, probably half of them, and they're really dedicated professionals to the industry and to improving the different winter maintenance operations, certainly around the world, not just in North America.
Well, great. Thanks, Matt. Anything else you want to highlight about what's happening with APWA?
I think we're good. I think that one of the only things is certainly this is an AASHTO podcast, and we have a lot of involvement from state highway organizations. Maybe not all of them, but certainly APWA is an organization for any type of organization, whether it's a town of 200 or a state highway that has thousands and thousands of miles to maintain. I think I've told you, Rick, there's way more similarities than there are differences, and we can all learn from each other. And we certainly welcome any participation from AASHTO organizations, large, small. Most of them are all large for AASHTO, but no, we just we're dedicated to spreading the word and educating anybody that will listen, and we're here to help. So reach out if you need anything.
Well, and I know I've leaned on some of your resources before. You've got some great handouts, some great notes. I know I bring up the one on potholes all the time. It happens every spring, and you've got a really good set of resources there that anybody can use, really.
Yep.
So Matt, thanks a million for the update on what's happening with APWA. If it's okay with you, I'm going to put your email and down in the show notes so folks can reach out directly if they've got questions about the APWA's subcommittee on winter maintenance. And I'll also post the APWA's website that points the way to the winter maintenance subcommittee. And
Okay.
and I do know, I was poking around this morning a little bit. I do know if you put in if you do a search on snow conferences, the APWA, the main snow conference and the Western Snow Conference will certainly pop up and allow folks to get some information about what's happening at those events.
Yep.
So again, thanks, Matt. Sure appreciate your time this morning to fill us in.
Appreciate it, Rick. Have a good one.
You can listen to all the briefings and other Talkin' Winter Ops episodes on our website, talkinwinterops.com, or wherever you get your podcast content. Video versions are available on Talkin' Winter Ops YouTube channel, and if a slide deck was used during this briefing, it's available through a link in the show notes, along with the presenter's email, so you can reach out and get more information. Thanks for listening in, and until next time, stay safe out there.